everyone, welcome to my Tarot Corner. So I thought that I'd start the video this way because this is Rosie's favorite place to lie down. She's a very spiritual cat, as you can see. And the minute that I light the candles, this is the minute that she will run away. So I am going to clear the way for her to run, because I know that she will the minute that I light the candles. Oh, not afraid, Rosie? לא מפחדת, חמודה? Looks like I'll have to take her down from here. Oh, here she goes. I knew she will. Okay, so today I watched a very interesting video by someone who is called Brittany, and her channel is called Royal News, I think. I will link it down below. She doesn't need my shout outs. I mean, she only opened her channel on March, and she's already at I think 80,000 subscribers or 70,000 subscribers. I think that even Sue Smith didn't rise so quickly. And I think it's Royal Daily News. Okay, but she said something that was very interesting, a very interesting theory. What she said was that Harry and Meghan actually have no creativity and nothing creative to offer. And what you said about this new Live to Lead documentary is that Netflix actually bought it, and it was shelved for a few years. And when they made that contract with Harry and Meghan, and they realized that they have nothing more to offer after they finished their own documentary, and they have nothing more to offer except their own stories, and nobody's really interested in their stories anymore, that they just linked the both of them together and decided to got interrupted. So what happened, what she said was that Netflix actually realized that Harry and Meghan don't have much more to contribute, and they still have a contract with them, and they had an obligation to supply content, and it's supposed to be content that is entertaining and is content for the whole family, and it's supposed to be all sorts of content. And when Netflix realized that Harry and Meghan have nothing more to offer, and they had this series that they bought from Nelson Mandela Foundation a while ago, and it was shelved because it wasn't good enough. So they decided to team up Meghan and Harry to this project and just let them mix it up, let maybe add their own voiceovers. This saves them a lot of money because they don't have to shoot. They don't need to spend money for Meghan's clothing or for jewelry or anything else. I mean, if you're looking at it, the only project that we know that they still have in the pipeline for Harry and Meghan is the Invictus Games documentary. And as she said, I don't know if this is her words, but last year, for the Invictus Games, Meghan, because she was part of the planning committee. She was part of the. She had a speech there. She was there for 2.5 days. Just her wardrobe and jewelry were $65,000 for 2.5 days. So just imagine if they are going to film again this year in Toronto, I think it is, in Canada anyway. For the Invictus Games, it's going to be another hundreds of dollars in expenses, private jets, wardrobe, photographers. So this is a project that doesn't cost Netflix anymore. It's only studio time for the voiceovers, and that's it. And maybe studio time to put together the chapters or the episodes of the series, and that's all. So I'm going to look into that, and I thought I thought hard, and I looked into all sorts of spreads. Disappointment spreads, failure spreads, all sorts of spreads, and then I thought the two best spreads to use in this option, in this question, is either a Celtic cross or the 9-card spread that I learned from Janine. And I decided to use this spread because this gives me more information about the hidden influences, the current situation, the past, the present, the future, and advice for Netflix. So before I start, please take a few moments to read my full disclaimer in the description box. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such, may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. And I'm using the Pictorial Key Tarot. It's a Los Caraberos deck that is not very expensive. And if you go to Llewellyn, now Rosie wants to go out a moment. So if you go to Llewellyn's site, in one of their sales, you can get this deck for $13 or $14. Anyway, so this is a straight Rider-Waite clone, very easy to use, and a very beautiful depiction of the cards. So before I start, I said my disclaimer. Yeah. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And let's start asking. Okay, so is our Netflix disappointed from their contract with Harry and Meghan? Is that why they teamed Harry and Meghan with the Live to Lead documentary? Do they expect nothing more creative from Harry and Meghan? Are they disappointed from their contract with Harry and Meghan? Are Netflix disappointed from their collaboration with the Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Okay, so let's cut the deck. And the first card is a significator card. It shows us the situation as a whole. And what I'm getting here is the Three of Wands. So this is a card that is a yes card. So if I'm asking if they are disappointed, the answer is yes. But this is also a card of collaboration and recognition. So this is a card that shows that when Netflix went out on this contract with Harry and Meghan, They hoped for this collaboration. They hoped for this recognition. They hoped for these ships to go out to the sunset. And these ships can be seen as the programs that Harry and Meghan can be the ones who are sending these ships to the sunset. So what I can see in this card is mostly what Netflix hoped for when they signed that contract with Harry and Meghan. This is how they saw the future with Harry and Meghan. And if you remember the interview with Netflix CEO, I don't remember his name, but he was very, very excited about the collaboration with them. This is how excited he was. The Three of Wands is the first success of the Wands suit, and this is a card. This is the suit of Wands is about. It's all about getting your potential realized in the material world. So this is. They saw a potential in Harry and Meghan, and they thought that they could get that potential realized. So this is how they saw Harry and Meghan, and this is what they expected. Now, the clarification card is the Temperance card. And the Temperance card is all about believing. So it's all about faith. So they had a lot of faith in Harry and Meghan. Temperance card is a card of faith. It's all about faith, about all you need is to believe. It is a card of partnership. It is a card that shows that they partnered with them because they had a lot of faith in them. So this is, as you can see, there is a lot of emotions. There's a lot of water here, but this is an angel here that is mixing the water. So this is the partnership here, and this is all about having a lot of faith. So these two cards are showing how Netflix saw Harry and Meghan when they first started. This is how they saw them when they made that contract with them. And this is why they were willing to pay so much money. Now, it doesn't mean that Harry and Meghan did receive all that money, but this is why they were willing to pay so much, because they saw a lot of potential in them and they had a lot of faith in what they can bring. So what can we see in the past position? And in the past position, I am seeing the Queen of Swords. So this is exactly how Meghan wants to be seen. The Queen of Swords, that's the queen who is fighting for change in the world. So this is exactly the women that she is depicting in that, or that are depicted in that documentary. The women that are fighting for change in the world, the women that are climate change fighters, women that are sacrificing their own relationships for social responsibility, women that are working for a better world. This is how Meghan wants to be seen, and this is how Netflix saw her. This is how Netflix saw both of them at the beginning. This is how they wanted to be seen. This is how they showed themselves to the world as these fighters for human rights, fighters for change, for a better world, for climate change. If you remember Harry's fake phony phone call with Greta Thunberg, how many buzzwords he used there about climate change, about change in the world, about social responsibility. These are the things. And Meghan in her podcast, so many buzzwords, so much. Excuse me for saying that, but it's like, word diarrhea, and really talking a lot about changing things, about doing things in the world. She speaks about her Procter and Gamble Procter and Gamble commercial change, and she doesn't stop about speaking about it because she has no other example to use for her social justice fighting. But this is how she wants to be seen, and this is how Netflix saw them. So what are the hidden influences here? And the hidden influences are the sun. And the sun can be seen as a happiness card. It can also seen as the child card, but it also is the father card. And I'm going to look at it as the father card. And this is another major arcana here. And as a hidden influence, I believe that they, or at least Netflix, thought that they are going to get a lot of information about King Charles, or about, at least as it was then, Harry's father. They expected to get a lot more than they received. The Sun card is also a card of happiness, of wealth, of economical stature. So they really expected to elevate their own stature, Netflix's stature, by having that contract with Harry and Meghan. They really hoped to get that more information about Charles, more inside information about the monarchy, more damning information about the monarchy than they really got. Okay, so next card is a card that is clarifying this card, the hidden influential, and we're getting the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, that is the king that is the general manager. This is the king that is making the business decisions. This is the king that knows how to deal with everything that is connected with business, that is making all of the business decisions. So this is actually a Netflix CEO. This is someone who is very much thinking about the independence of of his own career, independence of Netflix, about getting Netflix into a better place. This is all about money, about business, about ambition. So all of these things are connected. So all of these are the reasons why they made that contract. They had a lot of I'll put these maybe here, so it will be visible. So they had a lot of faith in Harry and Meghan. They put a lot of ambitions on Harry and Meghan, and the hidden influence is only showing because both of these cards are father cards. And the King of Pentacles is very much it's a father card, and it is also a card that is very close in its interpretation to the card of the Emperor. So both of these cards are father cards, and I believe that both of these cards are showing us that Netflix expected to get more about Harry's father, and maybe even more about Meghan's father. I believe that they wanted more information, more dirt about both fathers, and that they didn't get it, but they wanted more about both fathers, and they didn't get enough. What Harry and Meghan took out in that documentary, I mean, they did attack King Charles, but mostly Prince William. And they did attack Thomas Markle, but not as hard as you would think. Okay, So what can we see for the present situation? And in the present situation, it doesn't look well. Apparently, this card came in the opposite position, and usually I do not read upside down cards, but this deck is not upside down, so it came in the upside down. So I will read the upside down because when the deck is upside down, I just turn it around. But this card was upside down, so I need to read it in the reverse position. And this is not completely reversing the meaning, because the meaning of the Nine of Cups is wishes coming true. But when it is in the reverse, it shows us that Netflix are wanting, or this is like Netflix CEO sitting here and waiting for Harry and Meghan to prove themselves. They haven't proven themselves enough. This is a card of people that are over materialistic, and when it's in the negative, it's a card of someone who is perfectionistic, and someone who is restless and expecting success. And he expects more than he's getting from Harry and Meghan. So he's sitting there and he's expecting to get more. He is not satisfied. So although this is a card of wishes coming true, he wants it to become wishes coming true, but he's not satisfied, not yet. Okay, so what kind of advice can I give Netflix? And the advice, first of all, is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is a card of the Eternal Student. And the Eternal Student is usually a card of someone who I usually talk about it as the card of someone who is jumping from one bandwagon to another bandwagon. But it's also a card that is calling them to study and learn and to know what they are doing and who they are signing contracts with. And if you remember, we started with a Wands card, and this is a Wands card. So both of these are fire cards, creation cards. So this is a card that is telling Netflix, you need to study, you need to learn, you need to... This is also a card of gamblers and people that are relying on luck. And this card is telling them to be very careful of that, because this is part of the problems of the Page of Wands. So the advice here is to be careful of the things that are the problems of the Page of Wands, which are one, being restless and jumping from one bandwagon to another bandwagon because you're never satisfied. And the second one is gambling and relying on luck and not studying or not researching things all the way through. Because if they would have researched things all the way through, then they would have been an ace, not a page. Okay, next card is clarifying the answer. And what I'm getting here is the Nine of Swords, and it came also in the reverse position. So that's interesting. And there's the Nine of Swords is a very difficult card. It is a card of worry and justified worry. So this card is telling Netflix, and this is even worse when it's in the reverse. So I'm going to upright it because it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to tell you the upright and the reverse meanings. And the upright meaning is telling Netflix that this is a justified worry. They are worried, and justifiably so. And the worst will come. The worst will happen. This is a card that, this is another warning card. This is a card that is warning them not to enter a sick bed, to act out of logic, not to go into a failure. But because it is in the ups, in the reverse position, we see them pessimistic, we see them afraid of loss, we see them afraid of failure, even feeling guilty. This is a card of anxiety, of depression, even inability to get out of bed. This is a person that is letting other deceive them and making the wrong choices. So this is a card that is telling Netflix to look into their wrong choices and to make logical decisions. That is the advice of this card. This card is telling them to start making decisions out of logic, to start doing the right judgment and not the wrong judgment, and to stop making the wrong choices. This card is showing us a card of self-destruction, and we see that with Netflix. They are on the route to self-destruction. So this is a card that is a very, very, very huge warning card. So what can we see for the future? And for the future, I can see, okay, nothing. This is the High Priestess, and the High Priestess doesn't give us an answer. This is a card of mystery. This is a card of secrets. And the High Priestess doesn't want to tell us what the future will be. What she does tell us is that it is all a mystery. It is all let's say masked, or it's behind that veil, and we cannot know, or because the High Priestess won't tell us. But it does tell us that there is a high need here for therapy. There is fear of life, fear of change. And this is not a very good prospect for the future. So this is it. This is the tarot. And I think that this explains very well how Netflix got to where they got today. Okay, so that is the tarot, and the oracle card is the soul's journey oracle. And I will take the oracle card, and then I'll go and cook. I was going to make noodles with vegetables and meat, and then I found out I don't have the noodles, so I will just fry the vegetables and the meat. Okay, so let's clear the deck. Okay, so where is the soul journey of Netflix taking it? Where is the soul journey of Netflix taking it? Worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. So if we were talking about worry and justified worry, this is another card that shows us that they are going to be worried. This is my question is, where does their soul journey of Netflix is taking them? And the answer was towards worry. And what the message is, that worry is not changing the outcome, which is true, and that is why the advice was to act logically. And the message of this card is, worry is a wasted emotion. It's not, it does nothing other than give you the illusion of control. When you expend too much energy worrying, it limits you and has an adverse effect on the natural energy of the soul. Worrying destroys the hope, faith, and excitement that are wonderful elements of this schoolroom called Earth. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, share my videos. That would be nice. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.